Jamie Foxx, and this is Modern Day Fox.
Hey everybody, it's Jamie from Modern Day Fox. Thanks for joining me for another weekly food prep. Today I'm going to be using my Instant Pot for my food prep, and some of the meals I'll be cooking and some I'll just be prepping to make later in the week. I'm going to be doing a lemon garlic chicken. I'm going to do buffalo chicken, which I'll serve over sweet potatoes later in the week. I'm going to use some of the meatballs that I made in my last meal prep video. They are frozen, and I'm going to make a meatball stroganoff to serve later this week. And I'm also going to do a tomato chickpea soup. But first, I'm actually getting ready to hit the store to get what I need for my food prep, but I'm going to make a breakfast quinoa, and I thought I would show you how to do that too, because I'm going to make a lot and I'll have it for breakfast throughout the week. So I'm just going to take a cup and a half of quinoa, 2 1/4 of water, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, a dash of vanilla, and a heavy dash of cinnamon. Put my lid on. I'm only going to do 1 minute on manual for this, but I'm going to do about a 10-minute slow release. So that'll get going, and I will have a serving this morning, and then I'm going to put that in the refrigerator, and I'll just use my 21-day fix containers to portion out a yellow, and I'll add a purple container of fruit with that, and then I'll actually add a red container of Greek yogurt. It tastes great. I'm back again, and we are just about at a 10-minute slow release. I'm going to do a quick release the rest of this since it's almost at 10 minutes. And I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. You can see it's well cooked. Looks delicious. Now I'm actually going to show you how I would eat this each day. The first thing that I would do is use my yellow container, but just because it has the maple syrup in it, I'm going to leave a little room at the top in my yellow. I will dump that in my bowl. I have my Greek yogurt that I've made in the Instant Pot. You can do a full red, but today I'm just going to do a half because I'm not starving. And then you can do a full container of fruit in your purple container. If you look on my blog, I have a recipe for Kelly's apples, and that's what this is. The apples are really cooked down, so I'm not going to do a full container, even though I'll count it as a full purple. I'm just going to fill it up about halfway. And this will be my breakfast. I'll mix that all together, and I'm headed to the store, and we'll finish our dinner prep. I'm back from the grocery store, and I have everything I need to prep my 4 dinners. One little trick that I do is when I find recipes I want to make, I screenshot the ingredients, and then I have all 4 in a row in my photo gallery, and I can just scroll through each one and write down the things on my shopping list that I need. So that's what I did, and I have all the ingredients out on the counter so that I can get to them easily. The first 2 things I'm going to prep have about the same cooking time, the buffalo chicken and the lemon garlic chicken, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. For the lemon garlic chicken, I'm going to put it on saute and put a tablespoon of butter in there. I started prepping my onions in my manual food chopper, and as soon as the butter melts, I'm going to saute them in the Instant Pot. Both of these call for chicken breasts, and I bought a 4-pound pack of chicken. For the buffalo chicken, you just put everything in the pot. Really simple recipe. So I'm going to put 3 chicken breasts in there. Wash my hands. 1 packet of Hidden Valley Ranch Greek yogurt dressing. Just rip that and put it in the pot. And then Frank's Red Hot sauce. It calls for 6 ounces. That's about 3/4 of a cup. Give it a stir. And that one is ready to go. Put the lid on your pot. And we're going to just press the poultry setting. Make sure our sealing valve is set to sealing, and that will be done. For the lemon garlic chicken, I'm going to put the onions in with the butter, let those saute until they're translucent, and then I'll move on to the rest of the recipe. Now that the onions are nice and translucent, I'm going to throw in my garlic, let that saute. I'm also going to throw in a 1/4 cup of wine, and I'm going to let the alcohol cook out of that. To that, I'm going to add the juice of 1 lemon. Then I'm going to add a teaspoon of parsley and paprika. And then I have my chicken broth that I made in the Instant Pot, and it calls for a 1/2 cup of that. And I always feel like the Instant Pot recipes need more salt, and I'm not afraid of salt, so I'm going to add some extra salt than what the recipe calls for. I'm going to make sure my chicken's submerged. Put my lid on. And again, this is just poultry. Make sure my sealing valve is set. My next 2 recipes both contain onions that need to be diced, and the soup has diced carrots and celery and minced garlic. So I'm going to work on prepping those while my chicken is cooking. Obviously, you know that I have 2 Instant Pots, and I bought those because I do a meal prep every Sunday, and having 2 just helps me go faster. But there's no reason why you can't just put the ingredients in a Ziploc bag as your food prep and then just cook them day of. So I like to cook things ahead of time because I like the way it tastes when it's been sitting in the refrigerator, kind of marinating all the flavors together, and then that way I just have to heat it up on the weeknights after a long day of work and doing homework with the kids and everything. I have it ready to go. Both of my pots have gone off. This is the buffalo chicken, and the recipe said to give it 5 or 6 minutes of a natural release, so I'm going to finish the release. This one just went off. This is the lemon garlic chicken, and I'm just supposed to do a quick release on this one. Looks like it's completely done, and now I'm just going to shred it with 2 forks. Shredded, and it's ready to be stored. Onto the other pot. That smells really good as well. My directions say to take 1/4 cup of the sauce, and have a 1/2 cup measuring, and put it into a bowl. And then I'm going to mix that with 4 tablespoons of arrowroot. This is a paleo recipe, so I'm sure that you could probably use regular flour, but we're trying to eat low grains, low gluten, or gluten-free. Then we just want to whisk that, and this is going to help to thicken up the sauce. Now I'm going to take the sauce and pour it back in and just stir it all together. I think I'm going to put it on saute just to get the sauce to thicken up a little bit. And you can see the sauce is really starting to thicken up. It's a wrap on that one, and I know it's going to taste great. I took a little bite of it, and I think when it sits in the sauce for a couple days, it's going to be awesome on the day that I serve it. And I'll probably put it over pasta for my kids, and I'll probably eat it over zoodles. We're on to our next set of dinners, and both of them have me sauteing. I'm going to press saute on both. The onions and other vegetables in the oil. So I'm going to just put a nice tablespoon of oil in both pots. And as a reminder, this is chickpea tomato soup. And the other one is the meatball stroganoff. In with the onions for the soup, I'm going to put in the carrots and the celery, and also the garlic. While that's cooking, I'm going to make the sauce for the stroganoff. So that calls for 1/4 cup of sour cream. Calls for tomato paste, but I don't have any, so I'm just going to use 2 teaspoons of ketchup. Half a teaspoon of Worcestershire. The recipe calls for a bouillon cube, but I don't use those. And I know that my recipe is going to need a little bit more liquid. So I'm going to do 1/2 a can of beef broth. And then again, I'm not using regular flour, but the recipe calls for regular flour. So I'm going to do instead 2 tablespoons of arrowroot. And also paprika. Mix that well. In the recipe that I'm following, you actually make the meatballs, but if you watched my video last week, you know that I made extra meatballs, so I had these in the freezer, and I'm going to put them into the pot frozen. This is a bit of an experiment for me. I'm just going to add a little extra time since they're frozen, so I'm going to just pour these right into the pot. I'm going to add a sprig of thyme, and I'm going to pour the sauce all over the meatballs. I'm also going to add my mushrooms. And some onions. That one's ready to start cooking, so I'm going to turn my sealing valve. Unthawed meatballs is 10 minutes, so I'm going to add an extra 5 minutes. Do manual, and just turn it to 15. I'm going to let that one cook and get to my soup. Moving back over to my soup, I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients in. It calls for 2 cans of garbanzo beans, chickpeas, 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, a sprig of rosemary, teaspoon of basil, 2 bay leaves, and 3 cups of broth. This one is 15 minutes high pressure, sealing valve, and put it on manual, move it up to 15. And the timer went off and I let a natural release on the meatballs, so let's check them out. And, doesn't look like it cooked very good. So something interesting happened there, and it's probably happened to most people. One time or another that have an Instant Pot, and my pot didn't come to pressure, so it was kind of cooking and actually defrosted the meatballs, but it didn't cook what was in the pot. So I actually just restarted it for another 15 minutes and it did come to pressure. So I'm going to check it now. It already looks a lot better, but my meatballs have kind of, some of them are together and some of them have fallen apart. So I'm going to kind of taste this and see if it can be saved. I'm sure it'll be fine, but it just might not be meatballs. So my meatballs kind of like all fell apart, but it is fine. I added a little extra seasoning and I'm gonna serve it over egg noodles for the family. So it tastes just like a beef stroganoff. It's made with turkey, and the green in it, my meatballs, if you saw the last video, had spinach in it, so kind of an extra kick of nutrition, and that's fine. And next time I'll follow the recipe. I told you that it was an experiment, and that experiment didn't go so well, so follow the recipe on SkinnyTaste. Soup is done. Let's take the lid off. Smells really good. The recipe says to mix in spinach and let that simmer for 2 minutes until it's wilted, but I'm going to do that on the day that I serve it. So this soup is done, and I'm going to put both of these in Tupperware. Also need to pull out the bay leaves. And your rosemary sprig if you can find it. I am all set for another week. Just to recap, I have a buffalo chicken that I'm going to serve over potatoes with probably a little cheese, maybe some blue cheese. I have lemon garlic chicken, and I'll probably serve that over either pasta or zoodles or maybe rice. I also have a chickpea tomato soup, which I'll add spinach on the day that I serve it, and I'll probably make some grilled cheese for my kids. And then I have my almost fail that I saved, but turned it in from a meatball into just a standard turkey stroganoff. And I'll probably serve that over egg noodles for my family. And I'm not sure what I'll eat that with. Maybe some spaghetti squash or some more zoodles. And then my little bonus was the breakfast quinoa. I hope this helps you prepare for another successful week in your life. Make sure you check me out on moderndayfox.com for lots of recipes and also inspiring posts. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up.